We here. We back, y'all. We here to talk high level sports. Here, it's Lita Johnson, man. Here to talk basketball, man. Waiting for our first guest to get here, Dwayne Wise. Talking about an official team, Durant AAU, that has produced some of the best basketball stars in the country. One guy we want to talk about, Cam Ward. We also want to talk about Caden Lewis, guys like Duke, Kentucky. Cam Ward, Merlin is real hard on him. Been doing a real big time job. Um, a lot of guys I've heard about. A lot of guys I heard about. I really want to talk about is with Team Durant. Guys, I know Derek Whitehead. He's already a guy that's already in the NBA level. Kwame Evans Jr. Shout out to his parents. Big time guy, big time player. Um, One of those type of players that long, athletic, and can really play. Do all things on the floor. I'm really anxious to see how this guy develops at Oregon. Jalen Worley, another guy that big time player out there, always doing this thing. Jalen Worley is one of those players who, just for a little minute got around, and now he's finally where he needs to be at Virginia. Um, and I think he's a big time player for that school to be at that program. One of the big things about Villanova, they have Malcolm Thomas. Team Durant won the slam dunk. Congratulations to Malcolm Thomas. His pop is Eden Thomas, Syracuse, great. Did a great job. Won the slam dunk competition. We're going to talk about Villanova Hoops Mania more as we get into it. A lot of good recruits out there on the Team Durant floor. A lot of people will be talk to more and more as the months go by. We'll talk to a lot of top high school guys for high school. Next week, we're going to have Jimmy Boscow, NHL Flyers. He'll be here for the high level sports talk. Also here, Isaiah Ranglin of Villanova, star running backs, redshirt sophomore, big time guy. Man, I remember when I first talked to him, he was recruited, got the scholarship at Villanova, and now look at him, redshirt sophomore, running down things. It's a lot of good things going on. We definitely need to talk about going here into this great program called Team Durant. Now, when we get back, we're gonna go to another break. When we get back, we're definitely gonna talk more about guys like Cam Ward and guys like Caden Lewis. When we get back here on High Level Sports Talk. Back here, we're back now with high level sports talk. I want to break down a couple of good prospects that official team Durant has. We're looking at a Caden Lewis, ranked number 32. Number 32 overall, 247 Sports, number one in DC, the top prospect in DC, fifth among point guards, 6'2", 170 player. Um, Definitely one of those guys you got to watch out for. It's a lot of people coming for his recruiting. We got Kentucky. We got Duke. UConn. UConn's a big one to watch. And Michigan and North Carolina. You're looking at Cam Ward, another guy who I feel like one of those players that's starting to rise even more. Like, seems like everybody's second, he's rising. He's a 6'7", 210. You got him ranked at power forward, but he'll be a small forward once he gets, to the NBA floor. Number 54 overall, very strong, tough, physical player. One of those guys that is going to make your team better. Him and Caden Lewis are those special guys that Team Durant has. You're going to see them in a lot of NBA mocks as they, when it comes time for them to go. Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Shout out to Upper Marlboro. My sister lives in Largo. Definitely one of those players you're going to have to watch out for in 2025. Both these guys steady going up. Who knows where they'll go to. Right now, I'm looking at Maryland. To me, Maryland, Michigan State's gave them an offer. Kansas State, Marquette, Florida State. These two dudes is prime time players. Two of those type of players that when they play, you're looking at guys that can change the game around you. They can change the game around you. Looking at the focus of all these players and just how they play, I think the biggest thing about these teams is that when you look at these guys, you look at how Team Durant coaches these guys, like Derek Whitehead. He started out, he wasn't that type of player, but man, he got good. Athletic, makes your team better. And, he's in the NBA floor. I think he'll be one of those type of guys come around. I mean, he's dealt with injuries, but he's the type of guy, watch out. Big time talent, big time player. He'll get to you. He'll get to that point where Derek Whitehead will be a type player. I still believe in Derek Whitehead. Two guys Dwayne Wise wanted me to talk about was Kwame Evans Jr. and also Jalen Warley. Now, when Kwame Evans was rated, Kwame Evans was number 18 in the country, number one out of Florida, 6'9", 200. And if you look at Kwame Evans, look at the type of player he is, what he did with Oregon, he's going to start even more being that type of player coming up. Looking at Kwame Evans, to me, he's probably one of the best all-around players at 6'9" you're going to see. And he can do it on both sides of the floor. Looking at what he did last year, and why people are a little bit so excited. He averaged 7.3 and 4.9 points. He'll definitely have a lot more time this year getting the ball. They're invested a lot in him. Oregon is a big-time school, and they're known for developing their NBA pro prospects. And I think Kwame Evans Jr. is going to have a real good year this year, all-conference type player. Jalen Warley, that's a talk. Jalen Warley. He was number 34 in the country. He was almost a 5-star, number 3rd combo guard, number 2 out of Pennsylvania. Now he transfers to Virginia. I mean, I'm really hoping for a big time year this year, and they give him his time. I don't think when he was in Florida State, they didn't invest in this guy. They didn't give him this time. They didn't let him develop. Now Virginia's here. He's here, Virginia. Close to the PA. I think Virginia is known for developing the NBA prospects. So I think Jalen Warley would be one of those guys to look out for. Virginia's looking to have a good team this year, and I think Warley will be a big key part of it. 6'4", 175. Like I said, he's a number 3rd combo guard. As a transfer, they had him as a 3-star transfer going down. I think that's kind of like unfair because he didn't get to play to let you know how good he was. He didn't. They got him the 349th overall prospect. I mean, transfer prospect. That's crazy. How do you go from the 34th ranked national? I think people need to look more into that, but they're only judging by what they see and they're based off his talent and what they saw. And I think it needs to be accounted for that he didn't get the time he was supposed to get. Big time player, um, lots of potential. You'll see more from him as time goes on. I think he'll be one of those type of players one of those type of players that can build a program. And I think Jalen Woolley's one of those guys. What's going on, y'all? What's up, Cool Cat, man? Out here, we here with High Level Sports Talk. This will be every Monday at 5. My guys, definitely getting it in, man. What I want to definitely let y'all know is that we're gonna talk about Hoops Mania when we come back. Hoops Mania is big time Hoops Mania. It was a real big gunner came to perform for Villanova at Hoops Mania. Denise Dillon. A lot of people came out. A lot of good rosters. Both of them good rosters. A lot of good rosters through college basketball. College basketball is going to have one of those seasons that's going to be big time. We come in here to make things happen, and High Level Sports Talk. Sometimes you'll get music artists come here, and I had them on the show talking. Sometimes it just be, regular people, comedians, ever, but we talking sports at a high level. So when we come back, I definitely want to get y'all more in tune with this, how Villanova Hoops Mania was, and talk more about Malcolm Thomas because I think he's the most underrated prospect on that class when we get back on High Level Sports Talk. We here, we back, y'all, and we talking more and more about basketball, talking about Team Durant, talking about players that come from Team Durant. We're gonna come to Hoops Mania. Hoops Mania. What's going on, Alexander? My favorite sport is definitely basketball. Hoops Mania, Villanova Hoops Mania was great. There was a lot of guys that showed up. Julius Avent, 2026 recruit, 2026 recruit, Jaden Hodge. That's Matthew Hodge, the 2024 recruit's brother. He showed up. Also, they had Dante Allen, Malik Allen's son, Villanova legacy. It was only one 2025 recruit that showed up. So that kind of lets you know that the focus of Villanova, they had a lot of 2026, 2027, Mekhi Robertson, Carter Smith for 2028. Had a couple of guys that, from the later classes, so they're trying to go into that. Luka Foster, 2026, another priority target, definitely showed up. Next year is going to be big for Villanova. And we had some things. Jordan Longino won a 3-point competition. Shout out to Jordan Longino. Also, shout out to Malcolm Thomas former of Team Durant. Man, I didn't know his ups was that crazy. He did the Vince Carter dunk where he put the hand in it. I'm like, what? So, shout out to Malcolm Thomas, man. Malcolm Thomas is one of those players. And I think he's one of the most underrated players that Villanova had, especially on their recruiting class, because it was a good recruiting class with Sash on there. You also had with the Matthew Hodge and Josiah Mosley, right? Getting Sash at the point guard, Alexander. I just think that he does remind you of Colin Gillespie. He does remind you of Colin Gillespie. He can shoot his ass off, man. Like when Villanova gets this guy and gets him on, and when Villanova gets him, I think next year, I'm telling y'all right now, next year, Villanova's point guard is going to be Alexander Gavinov. If I'm saying that right, Alexander, we call him Sash. And I'm saying, listen, and it's crazy he didn't get the stars. I mean, look at how he plays. Look how he played in international play. He's so crisp. He can pass the ball, great court vision, can play D. I just think that Villanova's point guard is going to be him. After, Jamal Brickus leaves, because he's going to have a good season, you're going to see Alexander G, man. That's my guy. He's going to teach me how to say his name right. I'm sorry. We call him Sash, though. So y'all know who he is. Go to the 2024 247 2024 Villanova commits. Find Alexander, first name, Galvanov. That's what I say. If I'm saying it wrong, we call him Sash for sure. Now listen, looking at this team, look at this Villanova team. Hoops Mania. Jalea Green was another one that Denise Dillon got. Lara Edmondson was another one. Danae Carter coming is going to be big. Going to be big for that team. We'll do some more talking on the Villanova women's basketball class next Villanova next podcast. Like I said, we got Isaiah Wrangling and Jamie Boscow coming on. If we're talking about Villanova's team next year, I think it'll be Alexander. Then at the guard position is going to be Tyler Perkins. Then if you talk about small forwards, you got to be a little bit that's going to be something. Who will be the small forward? And I think if it's not, I think it'll be Chris Parker. I think Jordan Longino is it this year, and Chris Parker is going to be groomed to be that guy next year. And as far as power forwards, it's Matthew Hodge. And in the center, Njoku will have his time. So he'll get Njoku, Matthew Hodge, Chris Parker, Alexander at the point, and Tyler Perkins. That'll be, if you look at that team, that's a good team. Just young. A little bit. Chris Parker has experience. I mean, you got Alexander being over there with the in an international play. I think he'll be just right for that position. And if you're looking at Tyler Perkins, he has experience. Before he came over, he transferred from Penn. And Hodge is ready. Hodge can shoot from the outside. Hodge is ready, y'all. He can shoot from the outside, forward with size. And I know a lot of people's like, what about Josiah Mosley? But man, that could happen though. It's not. This is what I'm saying. Parker's good too. Do y'all know who Parker is? Do y'all know who Chris Parker is? I just don't think. I think people don't know what type of player they're talking about. Don't be talking about Favorite team in basketball, my guy. My favorite team in basketball is the Sixers, and I'm Philadelphia everything. Villanova, basketball, Penn State football. But I'm a Pennsylvania. What's up, Alexander? Appreciate it. But speaking of Alexander, talking about a guy that will take over. Look him up, Alexander. First name Alexander Galvanov. He's a guy that will be one of those guys with Villanova. If like I say, Nova Nation. If I'm wrong on that name, let me know, man. I mean, that's me. I'm gonna have to get it right. Sash, what we call him, but man, he's a hell of a player. Just like Jordan Dumont, just like Josiah Mosley. They all show. It's crazy how Villanova gets the guys that are good international players. So they're always ready for the next level. If it's pro level, always ready for college level, all you gotta do is give them the time. I think this team is going to be something. If you talk about the team, Jamar Brickus, you got Brickus, you got Tyler Perkins. Not Tyler Perkins, excuse me. Brickus, Wooga. That's going to be a backcourt that's crazy. Crazy. Like, y'all understand, Wooga been to the Final Four. Wooga has been against big-time competition. This is not like TJ Bamba. Shout out to TJ Bamba. All the love. But this guy's a little bit, he's better. He's better. He's been there. He's more prepared for competition. Brickus has been a big-time performer in Big Five competition. Ashley Howard being the assistant coach. Ashley Howard recruited him at LaSalle. He knows what he can do. He's a bucket getter and he can pass. He doesn't get the credit for making people around him better. John Gino is his time, man. I mean, what he was in Germantown was unbelievable. I mean, the man could score. He has all the talent. He could be the best scorer on this team. And I think him winning the three-point competition kind of, opened it up. If we're talking about power forward, Eric Dixon is the man. Eric Dixon, I'll have him on the show too, eventually this year too on High Level Sports Talk. Big time guy, Eric Dixon. I really think. Oh, excuse me. We got one of our guests is texting me now. Dwayne Wise, how you doing, guy? Just having a little difficulty. That's all. Excuse me, y'all. Live action. You trying to get Dwayne Wise to y'all on this show? You're gonna see live stuff, man. So y'all know. Listen, live stuff is gonna happen on this show. So right now we're trying to get Dwayne Wise, Team Durant recruiting director, on the show right now. I got y'all, but we're gonna talk more. No, what's up? What's up, guy? Yup. Yeah, just do that right now. Click the go in your DM. All the stuff right there. Click go in your DM. All right, got you. Big man, Dwayne Wise. Listen, y'all gonna see me, man. Y'all ain't gonna see me say somebody gonna be here. I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on. That's my guy, though. He's just having a tough time. We all getting used to but going back to Villanova, they got a lot of depth on their team. I like it. It's different from last year's team. It's a better starting five. And Bioki is gonna be the type of guy that is going to get he's going to get everything. He's going to get everything. He's going to get all the alley-oops. With Brickus is going to be the guy to open them up. It's going to be some other guys, some good Villanova's a good passing program. So they're going to learn how to get him open. He's super athletic. And I think that was such a good pickup to get him because they needed size. They needed a guy that could rebound. A lot of times he was getting out rebounded. We are also talking about Nana Njoku backing up. He will get time. It's going to be good to see him. You look at the next backup power forward. It's going to be Hodge. It's going to be real good to have him as an extra guy backing up Dixon. Then we're talking about the next guy is going to be, I think, Chris Parker or Dumont. One of those, I think both of them will get their share of time because Dumont is talented. He really showed a lot to me when he did international play. I saw what I saw from an AAU play, but I saw better against international play. You play against other people that have been playing for a long time. That's what they got. That's their thing. Ain't nobody come look at their high schools. Ain't nobody coming. America is it. So when you do international play, that's big. So I think Dumont and Parker will get some time. Looking at the guards right now, Perkins and I mean Sash. I think these two guys, it'll be good to put a guy that could be a ball handler and a shooter and Sash in there. And then you look at Tyler Perkins. He's a shooter. I mean, he really can. He can do step backs. I mean, I think he'll be a surprise this year for Villanova. At Hoops Mania, like I wanted to tell y'all, the biggest recruits for 2026, you got Julius Avent, Luka Foster, and Jaden Hodge. Those are the guys you're looking at right now. I think those are the guys close to Villanova right there. Luka Foster is one of them. They've been making him a priority big time. And looking at Jaden Hodge, that's Matthew Hodge's brother, I think that's a lock. That's the biggest lock. I think he's coming with his brother. And the opportunity to play with your brother and do it multiple years is huge. And Julius Avent has always been that they've been heavy on him. So heavy on Julius Avent. So heavy. So heavy. So right now we still waiting on Dwayne Wise, man. What's going on? Get on the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's guys. He's telling me about Jonathan Lamont, who's at North Carolina A&T. He's talking about Amani Hansberry's with West Virginia. Sean Simmons with St. Joe's. Guys, we're going to talk about Rodney Rice, 2022. Judah Mintz, 2022. Worley was with 2021. And you talk about Ike Cornish, who's also with Nicole State, 2021. So we're waiting for the Dwayne Wise to get on here. Let's see where he's at right now. We are on. We want the guy on. We want the man on here, man. Official Team Durant. This is Team Durant time. We're looking for this guy to be on here. So we're okay. I'm gonna stay on the phone with me. I want you got to coach me get this photo, man. Yeah, it's just go to your Twitter DM, and click on it. Okay. You was just on there one time. You were just on there, my man. We live. Yep, we live, guy. We got Dwayne Wise about to be on this show, man. We're gonna talk about some guys. Kwame Evans. Yeah. Listen, we're gonna talk about Sean Simmons. We need him to get here. We are waiting for Dwayne. There we go, man. Let's go. We almost there. I see you on the thing. Let's see where we at. Let's see where my guy is at. Yep, should be real crucial, real easy to do. Just click on the link and get on there, enter the studio. We here. We talking about Sean Simmons with St. Joe, man. He's a big time guy. He was with Villanova Target. He's doing this thing there. Kwame Evans Jr. is an NBA prospect. All right. No question. No question. We right here. We right here with you. We trying to get the man Dwayne Wise on here. Right now we going through the process, y'all. Ike Cornish, another guy. I remember Ike Cornish, man, telling me about Ike Cornish. Ike Cornish of Nicole State, another guy that's going to be big time. Big time things we talking about with Team Durant. Now, going back to the Villanova type side of things, right now the biggest recruits And it's crazy right now. I'm really looking at that. 2025, we talking about Dante Allen, but Tamar Brown, another center, PA prospect. This guy, listen, I would like. You never know. You know what's crazy about recruiting? You never know how it's going to go, because when you got recruiting, people people always listen. When you got recruiting, people always with the transfer portal. You never know what type of space you're gonna have. Right now, if you look at Villanova, they're totally full. And if you look at some guys like Tyler Perkins and Chris Parker, they got time left. Nanja Njoku, you still got Dumont. Um, I said Perkins. Listen, you got guys with all types of time. So until somebody transfers, you never really know how much room you got to recruit for the class of next year. That's why I kind of understand they only inviting Dante Allen to 2025, because they like, this might be the only spot we got. This might be it. This might be the only spot we got. So this might be it right here. This might be the only spot. So once again, here we go. Listen, this is Leader Johnson, man. So I'm. What's up, guy? What's up, my guy?
My settings on my browser, I don't. So I can show you. I can see what the problem is. Oh, don't hang up. I'm trying to get to it, man.
Right.
I can see you, but it won't. I'm trying to show how to get my mic. Don't say nothing yet, because I'm trying to get it in.
Right. We are here. We trying to get Dwayne Wise here.
Into the studio. Hold on.
Here we go.
It's still not letting me. It's still somehow join without mic and cam. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. You do that. Listen. This join. Join.
But you can't be hold in.
All right. What's up? So you ain't got a mic, or you ain't got a cam?
I can see you. I said edit your browser settings to allow. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
I said edit your browsing settings to allow stream to access the camera.
Okay, do that.
But hold on, so you can hear me?
I can hear you on the phone.
Okay, hold on.
What's up, y'all? We here. High Level Sports Talk. We here. We're just trying to get things going. No question. I see Dwayne Wise will be here soon. Basketball director for Team Durant AAU. Once again, Dwayne Wise, get on this studio. Get in the studio.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Hold on.
How many times, audience, have you heard me say recruiting?
Okay, I'm gonna say it on my own.
We are here. We're trying to get everything set up right, and we'll be cool, y'all. But Villanova is a team for sure that's going to be good this year. Like I say, Malcolm Thomas is so underrated, man. Like, I did not know he had the ups like that. He put his hand through the rim like Vince Carter to win the slam dunk contest. Are you crazy? Like, that's going to be with Brickus and Perkins. That's going to be a guy that I feel like they're going to find a lot of use for him. A lot of use. And this game, a lot of people are saying that this is going to be a big time Big East team because they got experienced guys on this squad. When we get Dwayne Wise on, we're going to get more deep into the foundation of Team Durant from the basketball director himself, Dwayne Wise. So we're waiting on the arrival right now. Let me go to
Started, man. It's not. Listen to me. It's telling me it's not allowing me to bring my voice and stuff in where they can listen. You hear me? Listen. You can't hear me.
I don't. It's a live show, my man. Like I gotta let people know because you are a guest, so I gotta let them know what you're doing and what happened. Yeah. I mean, I can hear you.
I'm gonna try. Listen. I can hear everything you're saying,
and
I can see you. My thing is something about my browser settings, so I gotta understand how to set that up. Hold on, I'm gonna restart my phone. So
we got you. We live. I got you. You got to know how to set it up. It was like it was real easy in their point. Let's
Can
see.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Listen, it's gonna be a lot of people there waiting to hear how you. So just remember to say whenever you address, you say recruiting director. Once I get this thing set up, remember you gotta say that because I don't want no problems.
You got to stop telling me that. You see how many times I'm saying that? Stop telling me that.
You keep saying director.
Yes, yeah, but I'm saying. Listen, we're sitting here live. You got to stop telling me that.
No. Listen, I don't. It's not you. I don't want problems with my
Yeah, but I'm saying it the whole time. Everybody here in my listen. Yes.
You said director.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I'm. Listen, that's it. Recruiting director. I'm saying it the whole time. Like I don't care about nobody. This is my show. I really don't. Like it's pissing me off because you're not on the show.
I told you I having problems with my phone. I hear everything you're saying. I'm trying to get over.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna save it. It's all good. I got you. Listen. Just go ahead and try to get it going, because that's a little crazy. Excuse me, audience. We had a little situation, a little problem. Listen, for anybody that thinks Dwayne Wise is the director, he's the recruiting director. I don't want to get him in trouble with no Team Durant, nobody. All right. We're saying when we say director, we're not calling him the director. To anybody that's the director, anybody that's the coach. There's another one, Coach Dwayne. We talked about him. He just said he didn't want to mix anything up to make it look like he was trying to be Coach Dwayne. We can go that way. But yes, when I schedule something, I expect people to be there and be here. That's all it is. That's my guy. Dwayne Wise is my guy. But one things you're not going to worry about is if I'm calling you recruiting director or director. I mean, they should already know. If whoever's against you should already know who I am. Like he doesn't know us. He's not out there. He don't know us and just calling you somebody over him. No, I'm calling you recruiting director on that. If I say director, if I say basketball director, did somebody tell me if I didn't just say recruiting director? If you're watching the show, that's what happened. All right. Now, we are back here again, live again. Like I say, apologize for anyone, but I will let y'all know if I don't have a guest and they haven't told me why they're not here, then I will let you know personally. Pick up the phone. You see the call. Dwayne Wise has a hard time getting on the show. I try to direct him, but it's all good. He's one of the best basketball recruiting directors. Again, I don't want to make listen, anybody that has a beef with him or anything or doesn't like what he's doing, I did that. That's my fault. All right. Basketball recruiting director, Dwayne Wise. You know what I mean? I do my shows. There we go. My God. That is my guy. All right. And that was good. Now you listen. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now, add to this. My God. What's up, Dwayne? There we go.
Connection problems, but I hope you can hear me.
Man, I've been waiting for the guy. There you go, my guy. We talking about we're definitely talking about some recruits. I went down, talked about some Hoops Mania. I wanted to talk about who do you feel like right now, it's kind of personified Team Durant and took it to that next level that's coming up right now as players.
You mean present players or past players? Give me your description.
I just present players. Present players right now. Like, I mean, like, what do you think? Let's talk about Kwame Evans. I mean,
Okay.
six
Class
nine,
2023. Mm-hmm.
6'9", 200.
Yes.
Man, talented as hell, man. Like, what do you feel like he'll give to Oregon this year? What do you see him at right now?
Um, it's it's hard to tell. Last year he showed progress. I think he showed a lot of confidence. As a freshman, true freshman. He was on a veteran team, and what I try to explain to him going into college, you're going to be playing against grown men. Which is one of his teammates. I believe was 25 years old, and so just being able to catch up from a mental standpoint of just playing, being staying aggressive and playing hard the whole time. I think that was an adjustment, and I think he figured it out. I watched him during the off season when he came here, and I can see a significant jump in his ball handling and just confidence in his strength, which I think overall help him for this upcoming season.
Right, right. Guys, a couple of names is real interesting. Judah Mintz, who just signed with the Sixers, man,
Yes.
balled out in the summer league. He really did. A guy like Jalen Worley, who's and another Sean Simmons. What do you see? This is the next year. Worley
Mm-hmm.
transferred. He transferred. I don't know how Florida State tonight didn't give him enough time. And it's time for Sean Simmons. What do you think of Sean Simmons and Jalen Worley?
Okay. Sean Simmons was class 2023 along with Kwame, Jonathan Lamoche,
mm-hmm.
and Amani Hansberry.
My guy, yeah, I like Dillard Lamoche.
Right.
Yeah,
Sean Simmons.
Rutgers, wasn't
he? Which one?
Lamoche. He was with Rutgers at one time.
Jonathan Lamoche was with Maryland.
Merlin. That's right.
Yes.
Merlin.
And that class was pretty special. Coach Wayne, our program director and CEO and founder, Kevin's father actually coached that group, which is class 2023. We had, if I can't remember, we had four to 5 stars in that group. Kwame Evans, Amani Hansberry, Jonathan Lamoche, and Sean Simmons. Sean Simmons, he was one of the star players that we have recruited out of the Pennsylvania area. And I nicknamed him the Plastic Man after Sean Murray, because he had a different, his ability to impact the game wasn't just because of how good he was as a scorer, but from a defensive and athletic standpoint, he was probably one of the best in that class. And he's about to start his sophomore year at St. Joseph's in his backyard. Highly tutored kid, love him. These kids have represented Team Durant as a whole to the folks.
What do you think about him? Now, Rodney Rice? What about this guy? This is the guy right here, Rodney Rice Jr. How's he doing? And Judah Mintz, 2 guys.
Rodney Rice Jr. Is a kid come out of class 2022 in a star backcourt with Tariq Whitehead along with Judah Mintz. Rodney Rice was one of the best combo guards in the country. He started off early at Virginia Tech, ran across a few injuries, and I actually communicate with the coaches. One of the coaches on new to the staff is from the Baltimore area, Kevin Stink Norris. Kind of keeps me updated on them, and of course, Coach Wayne, our program director, communicates with all the kids. But from my understanding, he's healthy, and I heard that he's going to be a major impact in Maryland this year.
That's good. That's good to know. Now, the one guy, last 3 guys that key names to look at. Ike Cornish, how's he doing? Nicole State, that's your guy.
Yes, my guy. Ike Cornish came to the program at a time of the COVID, which is class 2021. Ike Cornish from the Baltimore area. He played on that team with Jalen Worley, class 2021. He started off in Maryland. They had a situation where the coach ended up, the coach that recruited him, Mark Turgeon, ended up losing his job. So he came in with a new coach, and Coach Willett. It didn't work out. He transferred to Ohio University, got his feet wet. And, another young man that I used to coach is Tavon Sadler, head coach at Nicholls State, that recruits heavy in our area. He's now with Tavon Sadler, the youngest head coach in all of Division I basketball. And I think he's going to be the most improved player that we've had in recent years in terms of production. Ike Cornish is expected to have a really big year this upcoming year, his junior year over at Nicholls State.
Yeah, the last guy I want to talk about, the last 2, Armani Hansberry. Him and his family, Everything I remember them. I remember when Villanova was going at them, big time guy. Have you heard about they better West Virginia better play? This guy's good. Like I like watching them play. So what have you heard about what they're going to do with him and his situation?
Well, Chester Frazier is another guy that during my years of coaching AAU, he's not just a big time recruiter. He's a motivator and one of the best coaches. Again, from the Baltimore area. Amani Hansel did his last 2 years of high school here in Baltimore, playing for Mount St. Joe under Coach Clatchy. Amani Hansberry, I would like to say that from a standpoint of just working hard, high IQ, he didn't get a lot of minutes at Illinois. You know, it happened sometime for true freshmen, but if you look at the from a loyalty standpoint, Chester Frazier took a job at West Virginia, and then you notice Amani Hasbury kind of followed the coach that recruited him out of high school. And I think this will be the year, you know, from talking to Chester and just looking at Amani from from footage and stuff. I think this will be the year we see Amani Hansberry show what made him a top 60 player coming out of high school in class 2023 out of Mount St. Joe. I think we're going to get a chance to see that this year as a big-time rotational player at West Virginia. So I expect big things from Amani.
I want to definitely say Judah mentions the last but not least. Listen, man, he came in and he didn't even have a contract at first. He didn't have a two-way contract, and he played so good. Somebody had to give it up. Like he was really balling. He played inside, posting, outside shot, not scared to take it against anybody, and got the two-way contract. What do you feel that the Blue Coats and the Sixers organization get with the Judah minutes?
Another kid that being a major part of with the recruiting aspect of it over here with Team Durant. It's another kid that not only was he good, but as a kid I'm a big fan of. His father actually was one of my representatives in a court case in a traffic case. So to show you how what kind of relationship I have with his dad, particularly. Judah Mintz is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. It's very seldom you see a kid coming to the ACC averaging 15 plus points as a freshman. And, the way these drafts are, which are based on potential, not to be in the first round of the freshman year or not to be mentioned. I thought that was kind of like, because he did in the ACC at a high level.
Right.
He came back his sophomore year, improved in every facet of the game from not just a scoring, but one of Judah's main strengths is defense. And I know Syracuse kind of play a little bit of zone, but he still was able to show that, with his hand coordination and being able to close out and things, that he still was able to show some of that prowess that made him special from a defensive standpoint. But, I never had a shout of doubt in my mind that Judah Mintz wasn't going to be a pro because he already had more like a one-on-one type of game. And I just thought that if he, if he improved on his perimeter game, particularly his 3-point, I thought he could have been a lottery pick. But I think the Sixers know what they have, and it's not about where you start but where you end. I think that's a good pick for the Sixers, and I think my man Sam Cassell is over there that I grew up with, one of the assistant coaches. He's one of the guys that was just telling me a lot of things about him. When they were still with the Sixers, how much they liked him, even when he was there. As an assistant coach.
Well, your mind, I respect basketball knowledge, so we're gonna get to some college basketball questions because then we're gonna get to those. Looking at the NIL, the transfer portal, do you think recruiting itself, like, do you think the way they got to recruit now, they got to really wait because sometimes the roster's full, and so you don't even know how much space you got. You don't know how much space you're gonna have until the season's ending and people get to transferring or who they're gonna keep. So, I would like to ask you this personal question because this is a question that a lot of people ask. Do you think the NIL and transfer portal is a plus or is it a minus to the game?
Man, that's a tricky question, but it's a good question, to be honest, because the era that we in is so different from when we played and how we were being recruited. If you look at not just basketball, you look at football, look at track and field, which is part of my job as well, not just helping out Team Durant from a recruiting aspect of it, but also being a part of the NIL space and
Mhm.
having to be a consultant for football and track.
Right.
And one of the things I had to learn to get adjusted to was the times are just different. With the transfer portal, you're looking at 2,000 kids in the
Right.
portal every year.
A
These
lot.
kids are now entering the portal with a number. You know, if they average 15 points a game at Auburn, and they put themselves in position to be in the portal, they rank the talents according to what their production was at that previous school. So it
Exactly.
becomes, on three scouting service. If you notice, there's always an NIL number associated with their profile, which gives them an indication on what the kids might be looking for
Right.
before they even say I do to the next school. So with that understanding, for a high school recruit, it's not just really tough, but it's very important that you are affiliated with certain programs. It's very important that you have a high school coach to understand this space, and it's very important that you know these kids almost need agents at this level. And it's sad, but that's the reality because even with the NIL space, you have to have an agency to represent the kid to that particular donor or to
Right.
the people that represent the NIL at each school. They have to be represented by an agency. So with that understanding, if these kids are not, just say, highlighted at this age, maybe top 100, top 150 prospects,
Mhm.
they're going to get overlooked for that kid to average 3 points at another Division I school, or even a kid to play high D2 and high D3 to average 20 points. Those kids, if you look at Hubert Davis' son, Division III All-American, he
Yeah.
goes from there to North Carolina. So these
Mhm.
coaches are looking for kids to start their clock, whether it's at a JUCO, high D2, D3. They're looking for kids that have shown that they can produce at the college level, no matter if it's D2, D3, or JUCO, or even an NAIA school. So it's important that parents know that it's still opportunity for your kid. But if they're not in that top 150 range on the high school side, sometimes you might take the route of going NAIA schools, JUCO, or a high D2 or D3, just to start your clock. Because other than that, these coaches' jobs are on the line, and the NIL space is vital. It's vital in this day and age because it's all about what you did at your previous school, and all about what your worth is to the next school. So like I said, it's important that these kids not only put the work in at the high school level, but also make sure there's someone to explain what they're up against, going up against seasoned college players when it's 2,000 kids in the portal every year. That's important.
Every year. And you know what's crazy? Because you was just talking about the ranking of the kid at before he get transferred. When he comes in recruiting, that's a whole nother ranking. Then they
Mhm,
got another ranking when he's a transfer recruit.
mhm.
So now it's like what you was when you first got recruited is different from what you do. Like they're not even like it's kind of like they're forgetting how talented these kids are and they're ranking them off because sometimes coaches ain't gonna give these kids the time. You know how it is. They got their favorites on the bench or they got
Mhm.
favorites they trying to recruit, and so now it's
Absolutely.
going to get a little bit different. It's just. I think it's in my answer. I think it's good and bad. The transfer portal and NIL, you get your money. Kids get to get
Well,
paid. They
well,
get to
here's
get
the
paid. That's great.
well, here's the good thing about this.
Mhm.
When you look at recruiting before Congress got involved and Grant Hill and them start fighting for kid being able to transfer while sitting out. Think
Right.
about this: if you have a son that when that coach sat in your living room and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be here when your son gets here,"
Mhm.
then there's a coaching opportunity that arises. That coach has the ability to now go to another school without saying anything to your kid that he told that he's going to be there for you. You
Promise.
did,
Yeah.
you know, and they were able to do this and not have any kind of penalty in terms of going to the next university when your
Mhm.
kid is saying, "I'm committed to the school because of you, coach." So what happened is when you start thinking about it, well, if a coach can go to another university to improve his home life and things of that nature, you got a
Mhm.
kid that gets stuck into that university. The new coach comes in and say, if my job is on the line, I got 3 years to turn this thing around.
Yeah.
I want to come in with my own guys. I don't want anybody left over from the last coaching
Everybody,
staff. I
yeah.
want to come in with, if I'm gonna win or lose, I want to come and win and lose with the guys that I
Mhm.
recruited.
Right.
So Congress just made just kind of even the playing field. Said, well, if it's okay for a coach to leave without penalty, then a kid have to sit out a year. Then he can get recruited over because they might start looking at the next kid coming out of high school. Then when you have to stop and think, well, the Congress is right for passing that bill, allowing the student athletes to seek other opportunities if they were recruited over or simply the coach left for another job, or just say if a coach got fired like Mark Turgeon and Ike Cornish got caught up in a situation like that.
Oh
So that's
man.
the pro side of it is it benefits the student athlete in that regard. The downside is it's like the wild wild west and the chaos
Yeah.
because a kid now is saying, look at my value versus look at my production. And then you got these kids just putting their name in the portal just so they can get an extra 20,000 or extra 100,000, and it makes it's good business, but it makes it difficult for a college coach, and it
Yeah.
makes it difficult in terms of really knowing how much the sport is grown
Mhm.
or deferred. It's just it goes both ways, but the NIL definitely helps put uh some money back in these kids' pockets because that's their name that's being put out there. That's their name that's being promoted. Why not help a kid make money off his own name? I respect it from that standpoint,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it just hurts the high school kids so much because, like I said, men's college basketball. You look at some of these rosters. These coaches, quite frankly, looking for a kid with a beard,
Right.
grown men. So if a
Grown.
kid is not training right or don't have the resources to get better or get stronger, pretty much they're gonna have to start off at a lower level or maybe a D2 or D3 or JUCO just to kind of get their name out there and hopefully they have somebody around them that understands that lane and know and have relationships with these coaches already.
Okay, there's two guys I want to ask you about because their names is always up. Cam Ward
Mhm.
and Caden Lewis. What is making them? Because Caden came up. Caden really shot up.
Mhm.
What is good about both of them? Which you can say that makes them that that
Okay.
recruit that everybody likes now.
Well, when I first came to the program, I think Cam Ward was in the 6th grade or 7th grade. Coach Wayne, our program CEO, founder of the program, Kevin's father, we always talk about what kids we think gonna be the ones. That's one thing about me and him. Once this AAU season, though, me and him just chop it up about just talk ball. And one thing I respect about Coach Wayne, he always kept it real with me about some of the projected kids. Some of the kids, so Cam Ward was a kid. I think when I came to the program, he was in the 6th or 7th grade. Um, just like Amani, these kids are lifers. And after Kwame and I think Kwame and Sean Sims and Jonathan Lamoch and those kids, they were kind of like in their freshman, sophomore year. Coach Wayne was telling me, because he was Coach Wayne also running the program, he also coaches. So he started down coaching at like the 7th grade, coaching the middle school and allowing other people to coach at the highest level so they can kind of get their names out there,
Right.
that's a good sign. That's a sign of a leader. And
Yeah.
he was saying, man, Cam Ward, watch him when he grow. All of a sudden, Cam Ward started growing and growing and growing I'm talking about in height, and I realized his father was really tall. So I said, wow. But the first thing that stands out about Cam Ward, and this from me talking to scouts, some ESPN guys, some guys from Rivals, and some guys from 247 is yourself. The first thing that stand out to them is his competitiveness. You can't teach that what Cam Ward does. Every play he's competing like it's like it's the last play. His competitiveness and his drive from me just watching, and a lot of times I can't get out to a lot of these games because I got to watch them live because I have a mother that's been sick for like 8 years. So I'm able to kind of go back and watch it live and dissect and look at the film over and over again. And my first call is to Coach Wayne. We start discussing, what we think. And the first thing that stands out with any of these coaches is Cam Ward is a fierce competitor. And so before we get into the skill set and all that other stuff, is they talking about how he competes. And it's hard to get kids in this day and age to play as hard as him every play. He leaves it all on the court, and I think that's what's going to propel him to one day be a pro prospect because he's a competitor and his athleticism is off the charts. You know, um, Two good parents. He goes to the same high school where his parents are part of the school, raised well. This is like, to me, Cam Ward was like a kid that I call Coach Wayne of a son because that's how much he talked about him even when I first came to the program. And he was just talking about, he said, that's going to be our next big prospect.
Is he from Upper Marlboro? Is he from Upper Marlboro? Is that the one
He's from up in that area. He's
yeah,
up in
my sister
up in there.
Yeah, my sister's
Yeah.
in Largo. Yeah.
Yes. And I just think his competitiveness and his just willing to just compete hard every play. is what's going to set him apart from other. I think he's going to outgrow his ranking. Right now, I don't agree with where he's rated.
Tough,
I think he's a top 40
tough,
player.
tough,
But
tough,
I'm
tough,
not the one that does the rankings. But at the end of the day, I think he's one of those ones that's going to
tough.
outgrow his high school ranking and become more of a more of a instant contributor, depending on the system and where he chooses to go to school.
And then Caden Lewis, what about what makes him special? I mean, like I said, he shot up quick. He came out of nowhere to me.
Caden Lewis, when he first came to the program, he came to the program as a kid that you know, first of all, I love kids that can shoot the basketball. That was one of the first things that he came off the bench with us last year, coming off the bench behind Dell Jones, playing 17 under, getting that valuable experience playing up.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that he had a confidence that's unlike a lot of kids that he'll pull it from anywhere, and he will make most of them. Obviously, he's a lot stronger this year, but he did come to the program. He was not ranked. That show you that hard work can get you anywhere. He wasn't ranked. I don't even think he had a profile on some of these things. I know 247 Sports had him as a shooting guard at 6'1". When I knew, we knew he was a point guard. Over the course of time, you can see his progress. And one of the things that I will give credit to Coach Wayne this year, that's our 17 under coach. Coach Wayne, yes, we want to win games and things of that nature, but Coach Wayne is all about featuring your kids' ability. So this is one of the things that I would say that when you look at a Caden, this is one of the things that I would say that he's a monster, man. Not just from a work ethic standpoint, but from a standpoint of tremendous character. Had a chance to be around his father a few times, talk about what he does behind the scene to get him better.
Man, playmaker.
And I just like, again, Coach Wayne, Coach 17s this year, he let him play.
Okay, shout out for one. Shout out to your mom, man, Queen out there, still always strong. Shout out to all the team Durant, Coach Wayne. How y'all doing, man? I mean, this is a good segment, real good questions. The one guy, the last two questions I want to get out, Malcolm Thomas. I remember when we was talking when the recruitment was going on, right? And he was going. I mean, he really, especially after his commit to Villanova, he was really doing it at the math. Man, what are they going to see? What are they getting with Malcolm Thomas that people slept on? And what do you think the type of player he'll become? He gives to you.
I think he's the perfect Villanova player. That's just my opinion.
He is.
When you look at Villanova, they play small ball. They're like kids that play hard, that competes on both sides. I think that he's the perfect prospect for Villanova. As a matter of fact,
defenses. Wow.
Defensive man, prowlers, all the good stuff, man. Just for the simple fact that his athleticism is off the charts, man.
I didn't even listen when the Hoops Mania started and they had him in there. I said, okay, Malcolm's in the slam dunk. I didn't know, and when he put his hand through the hoop like Vince Carter, I said he could jump like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's definitely the most underrated prospect on the 2024 class. They had Josiah Mosley, had Matthew Hodge with him, and then they got the international guy from Bulgaria. I mean, right. I really like Malcolm Thomas. I think he's going to be a pleasant surprise. Son of Syracuse great Eaton Thomas. Shout out to him. Did a great job. Y'all did a great job. The last question I want to ask is what prospects do we got to look out for that we don't know about that's coming from Team Durant?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and I say this to people. I like to wait to see the kids put the work in and do it on the floor. Sometimes we can. I think we do kids a disservice when we pump them up too early, and then the production doesn't match the potential.
I understand. Yep.
So for me, I kind of sit back and watch my own self, man, as a fan. Again, my focus has always just been more on recruiting, helping them with NILs, basketball, football, and of course track and field. But basketball is always my first love. So what I would say is this, man. I always say I wouldn't really talk too much about these kids in terms of till they get to like their sophomore, junior years, because
Right.
sometimes potential don't turn into production.
Don't
And
turn to production. You're right.
I will say that, and then recruiting is year to year. So each year, we have to recruit to improve these teams. No
Mm-hmm.
kid is under a contract that aspire to say you got to play for Team Durant or play for Team Mello. These kids all free to choose whatever program they think is going to fulfill their goals. My thing is, I like to wait and see. Of course, there's some obvious kids that I'm sure y'all already know about as scouts.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I like to see the kid now show progression over a course. Like you look at the Caden Lewis, unranked, played JV,
Yeah, man. Yes.
different things like that. Now all of a sudden in 1 year, he's top 30. And Coach Wayne was just talking about me. I say, Coach Wayne's my big brother. I talk to him, about things besides just this basketball stuff. We talk about life, and we talk about this with these rankings and stuff. It can be a gift and a curse. You need it because kids don't get scholarships without having a number next to their name these days, especially when you start talking about high major. But that doesn't mean that a kid, what these kids don't understand is when they go to college, that ranking and stuff goes out the door. And it's a dog eat dog. It's about who can outwork who. So, but again, I think I see a few kids that have some potential. Um, I don't want to throw their names out there too early because sometimes these kids forget about the work. And I think I do a disservice by throwing a kid out there too early. But I always throw a little tidbit to scouts like yourself and Adam Fingerston, Eric Bossi, or Paul Vinicardi. If I see one that looks like they got the right work ethic and things like that, but because it's so early, man, I just don't want to do a disservice to throw kids' name out there in terms of they're the next one, because sometimes it puts enormous amount of pressure on these kids, and when they can't live up to it, everybody looking at them like they failed. And I just don't want to, but there's some kids I could see. I'm sure y'all already know the kids like Bob and them that's already highly rated. And I know y'all know about the kid Jamal McKnight and stuff that I see a lot of people starting to gravitate to and things like that. But because we have to recruit year to year to improve these teams, we're not even sure what kids will be back. It's year to year, man, because you got some kids got better, some kids didn't. Yeah. So what I would do is, it's a couple 28 kids that I've been, where I might have grew up with their dad and stuff like that. I'm behind the scene helping them with them, improving the things. I see some potential. But again, we don't really know how good these kids are going to be till at least their sophomore, junior year. And then we have to be careful with that because sometimes, it depends on how much they're in the gym because if somebody's always trying to outwork them. So when them rankings, it's a gift and a curse because once they get highly ranked early, they become a target. And when you rank early, you can only go down. So you just have to be careful with ordaining them as the next. I seen a kid from years ago, they had them ranked number one player in the country in the fifth grade.
About a guy, and I don't want no problems. I don't want no problem for you, his mom. But Isaiah Tide, listen, he was number one in the country. He was number one in the country. You remember? Right. Do anybody remember? Number one. All of a sudden, when that was the class with Jalen Green and even Mobley, and all of a sudden he goes down to like top 30. It was like crazy, but I mean, shout out to the family, but it's just crazy how at first he was like number one, and then you didn't hear nobody mentioning his name like that anymore. So I understand what you're talking about. Just like what you said about the coaches when they leave. Arkansas, that happened with Musselman. A lot of people left. They just decommitted and left. Calipari, that happened in Kentucky. All those guys. Right. Michael Shrewsbury in Penn State. When he left, his son and everybody left. So it's just that definitely can happen. That is a great point you made about
what's the one kid that started off in Memphis with Penny, and he was ordained in next 7.
Talk about Bates.
Amani Bates.
Yep.
And I learned my lesson from that situation. You're looking at a kid. They was talking about these kids ranked number one in the country since 5th grade. And I just think
the hype behind him didn't like. That's a good point because the hype was crazy behind Bates.
Right. And you start talking about these as the best prospect you've seen since Kevin Durant. Well, I've been watching Kevin since he left Nashville Christian, and when I watched him actually starting at Oak Hill, and they had Kevin listed at 6'7". Me and Coach Wayne was just talking about this again, talking about his son. And I remember Kevin Durant reminded me so much of Reggie Williams that played back in here in Baltimore, Dunbar, went to Georgetown being a star.
Mhm.
Slender shoulder, 6'7", but I like guys that can shoot the ball. So I could be a little biased. But I started watching Kevin when he was at Oak Hill. Then he ended up going to Montrose Christian. Me and Coach Wayne had these conversations all the time. And what I realized, when somebody can try to compare, you know, whenever you see somebody 6'8" to 6'10" that can shoot the ball, first thing they say is the next KD. And I just think that's just so unfair to kids, because I watched Kevin Durant when he was playing for the DC Blue Devils. Oh yeah, with Coach Robin, my man, one of the trainers there was my guys, Keith Williams. And Kevin was just special from me watching Kevin in high school. And I'm not saying some of these kids can't be good in their own right, but I just think it's fair to let the kids be who they are versus trying to compare these kids to Kevin Durant.
NBA comparisons, yeah, we all do it. I do it. But
I know.
I understand that. I understand that.
Right.
I understand where you're coming from. There's no question. I've heard parents say that, like, you know, he's his own self, you know. But
Mhm.
I want to say I'm not going to put the writer. He's a known writer, known recruit. When Bates came out, he said, "This is the best high school recruit I've seen since LeBron," and I was like, "Okay, ooh, that's pressure." Like, this is the best shooting. Like I said, man, that's not who he is.
You saying it's a kid you describing now?
Imani Bates. When Imani Bates came out,
Okay.
he was in the gym shooting 3-pointers, and he was hitting all of them. And so it was this one scout for I'm not gonna do that to give him the respect, but he's a known guy. And he was like, he said at the time, this guy's gonna be the best. He's the best since LeBron. And I said, he said, nobody ever could shoot like this at his age. I said, man, you putting too much. You got to stop that. There's a lot of talented guys out there. And I had inboxed him and told him, like, you really going to put, I mean, we all do it. But when you say this is the best shooting prospect, because he was hitting all his 3-pointers. He was just in the gym hitting all his 3-pointers. He was like, he's the best shooting prospect I've ever saw. And I mean, since LeBron, I'm like, ooh, this is crazy right there. You're going to give him that? You're going to give him that type of pressure?
Right.
No question. So I want to one thing I want to ask you about, because you're doing good at it, man. I was surprised at the football, and you got some names, some good names. Tell me about the guys that you've stumbled across since recruiting and doing your thing in football. That you
again, there's some things I can speak on, some things I can't. One thing I will speak on is Kevin's father, Coach Wayne, has really helped me a lot with other opportunities outside of me helping with Team Durant on the recruiting, but introducing me to some powerful folks that involved with football, basketball, and track and field. With Kwame going to Oregon and him and Mookie Cook, you know, there were some opportunities there as a consultant with prospects, which allowed me to kind of help kids with NIL at this level for football, track and field, and basketball. Mm-hmm. And I give credit to Coach Wayne because introducing me to some folks to put me in a position to get you know, a job and do some other things outside of what I do in basketball. And one of the first prospects I came in contact with was Nicholas Harbor. We had Coach Oz at the time was over here with Team Durant at the time, and we had Coach Powell, who gave us a part of that. Well, gave a part of that school that Nicholas Harbor attended, Archbishop Curl in D.C. And one of the folks that found the prospects, which were folks under the Nike umbrella, asked me that, you know, would I be able to help with this consultant to help kids with NIL at the high school level. And one of the prospects I was fortunate to come across was Nicholas Harbor. He was a 3-star, 4-star athlete on the football side, but he was considered a future Olympian on the track and field end. And that's when I had to really kind of dig down to the same lane that I learned about basketball. I had to learn that lane when it came to football. And I learned so much about, you know, I just realized how big football is. Football funds a lot of the other sports. You know, you're looking at 40,000 to 100,000 fans in comparison to basketball. Right. And I'm like, wow, well, it was scary at first because I knew basketball, understood basketball, played basketball, and knew the business. But football was like, you know, it was a head scratch. So I got a chance to meet with the athletic director over there, talk to Coach Wayne, had Coach Wayne kind of vouch for me as well. Coach Powell at the time was over there with the school, Archbishop Curl, and just getting it familiar with football because of the Nicholas Harbor thing. And once they realized that he was a football and track star, they said, Dwayne, you know Nicholas Harbor? you know, like yes now. So I just got thrust into a situation where I had to kind of learn the demographics of football, and it's been now a year and a half since then, and I'm learning everything about that just as much as I am on the basketball side. And it's fun.
Good deal, man. Well, look, man, we're about to wrap this up, man. Great talking to you. Great knowledge. Things I wanted to ask you, man. Listen, y'all look out. Team Durant, you see them playing AAU. These guys, they can ball. I wonder one thing I want to say. What do you think? What makes these guys so? What is y'all key ingredient to developing these guys, man?
Well, the first thing I can tell you this from coming to the program is the program is really organized. There's some people that that you don't see. It's a system. Coach Wayne brought in some really good people, man, that you just don't see. They're not on the cameras as I might be on the cameras and things like that. Like guys that's not even coaches that are very loyal to the program. Bingo is not a coach, but I just say bingo. People that's real close to Coach Wayne that he trusts, that he gives everybody a position or a job, and you got to be good at what you do. You have a director of academics over here, Miss Shanae. You have so many different people that help build Team Durant to what there is that you just don't see. We got some good coaches over here. Coach T, had our 16 under, made Peace Jam. We had Coach Dre, the 15 under coach, the Coach Baba. So many people over here that that have a lot to do with the success of this program that's just not on camera. And the leadership is there. And I think what happens is when we recruit kids, we don't just recruit the talent, we recruit their families, and things of that nature. No egos. Everybody takes a part in recruiting and things of that nature, and it all comes together until the product is on the court. At the end of the day, the kids still have to do it on the court.
Right.
But it all starts from a leadership standpoint. And I give all that credit to Coach Wayne, who runs the program.
Well, thanks, man. Listen, man, good talking to you. I'm gonna end this show real soon. Man, listen, it's a lot of things. We do a lot of things. So, I'll be seeing you out there. Just hit me up anytime, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Man, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Got you, man. Y'all, that was Dwayne Wise. Listen. Yeah. It's as real as it gets on this show, man. We was late. I was late. 5 o'clock. I come through, sit down, and I was like, yo, what's up, my boy? Y'all hear me on the phone. This is the live things you get, man. There's no disrespect to nobody. That's my guy. 100%. That's my guy. So, we was coming here for the show. Once the show got cranked up, man, listen, if you missed that segment of the show and you came to this part, you're crazy. You got knowledge, players, everything that was big. Shout out to Dwayne Wise, man. Shout out to his mom again, a queen of the earth. All the queens that if you're going through something and you're going through something with your mom, sorry about that, man. I mean, much love, prayers. I said pray for you right after here. I actually pray for people, no question. All right, listen. I wanted to talk about Villanova Hoops Mania before we go. Okay, Villanova Hoops Mania. Big time. Just so many recruits that showed up. So many recruits. Like I said, shout out to Gunner, music artist, did his thing. Shout out to Denise Dillon. She's going to have a good team. See, that's the type of team right there you're going to see, and you're going to be surprised about it. She had a lot of transfers, a great recruiting class that included Jasmine Bosco, Rachel Wirtz from Indiana, Danny Ciceretti, if I'm saying that name wrong, another one I might get wrong, Alexander. I say Alexander G. We call him Sash. Danny Ciceretti, I sounded it out. Man, she can ball. Oh, man. That class, Denise Dillon knows how to do it. Her whole staff, they don't get that credit. You're talking about a year that was difficult. And then you lose Lucy Olsen, Christina Dawes, all right, Zanai Jones. You lose them. And that was a good recruiting class. They all came in together. And she had to reshape that. Jalea Green, I'm really excited about her. She's from St. Louis. Laura Medson, Power. Bonan Cassidy. That's another one that could shoot, score. Really good team to look at. Bryn McCurry, I can't wait to see how she does, man. Maddie Weber, Burke. I mean, listen, surprise team. Y'all might think now the thing is chemistry has to happen. You gotta let them play first. Chemistry has to happen. Chemistry has to happen. So we gotta let that happen. It's like with Villanova. But Neptune has who he wants. So we're out of here. Listen, I'm out of here, y'all. This is High Level Sports Talk. The first episode. Next week, we will have Jamie Bascal of NHL Flyers. And we will have Isaiah Ragland, running back for Villanova. The monster. There's a couple of them on there, man. You got David Abbott. Yo, Mark Ferranti and them boys, man. I'm going to just get a credit. It's like Penn State. Penn State recruits big time. Man, Ferranti has got his elixir. He has found his juice. And like he is recruiting. And then the 2025 class is coming to get, listen, big time. I got some segments next week. Next High Level Sports Talk. We're gonna come up with, certain guys who we give love to, certain recruits, and that'll be the next one, okay? Because we got the football, and that'll be after the Villanova game coming up. Stony Brook. That's gonna be a big one, man. 4-1 schools. Let's see who's better. It's a big game for Villanova. It's a test. It's a test right here. These guys come to play. Stony Brook comes to play. So I'll be here, y'all. No question. Every Monday, High Level Sports Talk. Also, I got a show on Instagram Live. I do interviews with top high school Instagram Live. That's called Elite Focus. I do the Instagram Live with them. Also, watch Blitz Take off Hardcore Sports Net with Cool Cat. Cool Cat show, man. Big time guy. That's my guy. Alex Reich, another guy. I'll also be on Hoop Fanatics tomorrow. Hoop Fanatics. I'll be the guest there. We're talking Villanova Nines football schedule. We're going to talk more Villanova. You know how I do, man. Basketball this time. All basketball. So I'm out of here. Y'all. Peace.